You're welcome back. This is Newsfile. It's your most authoritative news analysis platform. And here on Newsfile, as always, we put Ghana first. We will get to the NCA issuing as many as 133 licenses for radio stations to operate, including some that lost their licenses for various infractions previously. But quickly, let me share just a few of your messages with you. PK in Nlembele says that on the politics of abandoned projects, I think the NPP stands tall. He mentions a number of projects and says just recently, Otumfo appealed to Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo to help complete the abandoned Boankra inland port at Boankra, and the president agreed in unanimity. Look at the U-turn on the people at Cape Coast. Well, the president has apologized for that, not exactly a U-turn, if you see it in that light. Now, this one from Prince Henry in Koforidua, you say it's good that President Akufo-Addo said he made a mistake on the Cape Coast Harbour, Bruhaha. Making a mistake is better than being misled. After apologizing to the people of Cape Coast, must apologize to Togbi Feti, the paramount chief of a Aflao traditional area. John Nyavo says they are simply destroying the country for their selfish gains. It's as simple as that, Samson. Great sage Prolific says corruption is the most guilty, and these two have their hands stuck deep in it. Baba Chairman in Tamale says that the NDC should be the last to be talking about abandoned projects. Okay. MP Kwarting says, can you define abandonment for us? When do we conclude that a project has been abandoned? For instance, the E-block was meant to be completed in 18 months and it's been 5 years. Okay, you heard me clearly. You see what I think about that. Then this last or two more, Samuel Ampedu says that we need a national agenda which must be made mandatory for all parties in power and not party manifestos, where Constitution Review said we should make it mandatory. Both, political divide feel, don't force me to come and take projects that the National Development Planning Commission has set up. Interesting views there. Let me bring on now. Before I did, I just wanted to also state, Chairman Sabos, when he was reading the budget statement in place of the finance minister, highlighted the wastefulness of delayed and abandoned infrastructure project, as has been noticed nationwide. And he said, quote, every new budget invariably contains a host of new projects to be initiated at the expense of ongoing projects. So he also wants this to stop. He said, governments owe the people a duty to use limited public funds responsibly. The era of abandoning public projects started with public funds must end. That is Che Mensabon. So thank you very much for that. Now, I have on the phone from the, on phone, I said on Zoom, Reverend Edmund Yerenchi Fianko is the acting head, engineering division, National Communications Authority, NCA. Reverend, thank you so very much for your patience, and please forgive us. As you have followed, you see how it's been heated and how it's been almost difficult for me to stop my guests from continuing with the debate. But thank you so much for joining us. I was in court on Thursday with my good friend, Dr. Eduse Poku, and he, after court, that was when the court the Court of Appeal gave the decision refusing the appeal by Multimedia and Asempa against the reduction of their coverage area from 100 to 45. And he told me that he was coming to the place where the meeting where you are sensitizing the operators and owners, and there may be some conditions before the 133 licenses are, become operational for them. Let's know, why did you give all that out, and what are the conditions by which they can become operational going forward?
Okay, thank you, Samson. So the 133 that the board recently approved, not all of them are new stations. So about 95 of them are existing stations who are applied for renewal, including stations like CTFM, etc., who are existing stations whose authorizations are up for renewal and they had applied. We've gone through the processes, and then the board had granted approval. We have the 13 of them were stations that were closed down after the 2017 audit, not right after the audit, but those who had fines, and they went to the tribunal to get them quashed. But then the basis for the tribunal's decision was that if you don't have an authorization, then you don't have a basis to be in operation. You revert to the position of a new applicant. So a number of them reapplied, and those are part of the ones that the board approved. There were also 25 that are completely fresh applications that didn't used to exist.
So when are we going to see, is that what we expect to see, that one day we get up and 100, no, not 133, for those who are already existing and are renewing stuff, like you said, right, those that have just received them, those who are shut down, are we going to get up one day and then we find that all of them are back on air?
No. So on Thursday, when most of them were there, we split the 133 into two. So the new guys came in on Thursday, and what they received after the workshop was their provisional authorizations. Provisional authorization, they have 60 days to pay the authorization fee, and once they pay the authorization fee, they are free to, they will receive a final authorization, which will now state the frequency on which they can operate. And then they would be required to go and set up the station. And once you set up the station, LI 1991 requires you to invite the NCA for inspection. And after we have inspected the station and it is satisfactory, we will then issue you with a test transmission.
Do I get the impression that potentially they may not, those who are shut down may lose their original frequencies?
So not necessarily. There is a chance that they could get them back, but we don't talk about guaranteed specific frequencies until you have satisfied the condition of the provisional authorization.
So it's not guaranteed. For example, that Radio Gold will get its 90.5.
There is a chance that they could.
So it's not guaranteed. That's what you're saying.
Yes.
Why? Does that mean that when they got shut down, that frequency had been given to somebody else?
Not at the moment.
Not at the moment.
Yes, please.
Okay. Yes, you were saying something else. I think I cut you.
So all of them are not going to be coming up at the same time. Everybody, and once you the speed with which you fulfill, the requirements of the law. So once you satisfy them, we at the sensitization seminar, we handed each of them a booklet, which is like a guide, the key things that you must note.
Right.
And we give them we get a compilation of about 10 key things. Included in there was also the checklists for the inspection.
Okay.
And so that you would know what we'll be looking out for when we come.
Right.
The idea is that our intention is not for anybody to fail. Our intention is not for anybody to not conform, to violate the provisions of the conditions of the authorization. That is not our intent. So the board and management decided that we should have this workshop and take them through, especially the owners, because sometimes you have managers who leave.
All right.
New people coming and that they don't appreciate, what they ought to do. We also took the opportunity to get them to know some of the improvements, that have come up on our side.
All right.
By way of automation. So under the leadership of Mr. Joe Anochi, following the same audit, we also detected some internal lapses that also needed to be improved. And so he led the team to introduce automation in the spectrum management processes. And also we have broadcasting monitoring systems that have been established in Accra and in all our regional offices to have a continuous monitoring of compliance, especially to the technical requirements of broadcasting authorizations, both for television and for radio broadcasting.
Okay. Thank you so very much, Reverend Edmond Urenchi Fianko. We thank you once again for your patience. You have been on for a long while. He's the acting head, Engineering Division, National Communication Authority. Okay, so I've got a very senior man who says that Radio Gold and XYZ should be giving same wavelengths. That would be the right and smart thing to do. When I get his permission, I'll put his name out shortly. But can I get maybe some 30 seconds or 1 minute from each one of you, starting with you, Sammy?
Yeah, 1 minute, but in 1 minute.
And the reference I made to him, we went to court. What it means is that sometime, that's if nothing happens to what has happened, Joy and Asempa applied to renew their licenses. They were giving provisional renewal authorizations, and the condition to that was that they should reduce their coverage from 100 kilometers to 45. And then they sought to fight that in the court. Eventually, the decision is that NCA is right in doing so. So it means that, by my understanding, it may not get the reach as it used to be, because from 100 to 45. Yes.
Well, we don't have time to go through the details of all these issues, but on the restoration of the closed radio stations, what I can say is that the closure was wrong in the first place. It was done in a selective manner. It was done in a discriminatory manner, and it was high-handed. This government had no business shutting down those stations, and so they deserve no credit or plaudits for the restoration. That's what I would say about that. But a damning allegation has been made against my party that I need to respond to in 5 seconds.
Hold on.
I should hold on?
Please, hold on. I'll come back to you. Martin, what do you say about these 133 licenses? It's Kwekubako who says that he thinks the best thing to do is to give back their wavelengths. They shouldn't tamper with it. Give Radio Gold what it had, give XYZ what it had. Yes, Martin, quickly.
Yeah, Sam, and I'll support that call 200%. That's a list that can be done, because after keeping them out of business for so long, over a matter that shouldn't have attracted that sanction, the least they can do is to give back Radio Gold and those other stations affected, the original wavelength, the frequency. That's better, because you see, now democracy, remember what the chairman of the NDC said some time ago when he met the president, I think last year or something like that. He said, look, people who listen to Radio Gold, if he shuts it down, it doesn't mean that they will come and listen to another station. The deeper thing I get from it is that some people like to belong elsewhere. You can't shut down a station so that they would be forced to move to another one. No.
Okay. So but the amnesty is welcome, isn't it?
Yes, it is. But to make it complete, please, we are respectfully asking NCA to give Radio Gold the 90.5.
Okay, thank you very much. Kofi Bento, some 30 seconds. We are running out. Yeah.
Yes, I support that they should give Radio Gold and the others their old frequencies back, 10,000%. Indeed, let me make this point. I can argue that Radio Gold and those other stations have an equitable right to their previous wavelengths because they have invested in it. So indeed, giving it to other people, all kinds of things can be raised. So please, let's keep things clear. Number two is that, look, these radio frequencies are national assets. They don't belong to the party in power. And so when they are being managed, they must be managed as such. Otherwise, the next person who comes will use it as a weapon.
Yes,
Third and the final and most important point is that in the next 5 years, radio frequencies, FM radio waves, will become as useful as shortwave frequencies.
Okay.
When we were growing, we understood GBC2
All right,
shortwave.
thank you. I'm
Because
sorry. Yes, Okoboy. I'm sorry. I'm not able to take any more. Yes, 20 seconds. Yeah.
All I'll say is that even if you're an FM station and you have affiliation to a particular ideology, just make sure you stay above board in terms of your obligations. Pay the taxes or whatever that you are supposed to pay. I don't believe anybody on this platform will agree if a particular station says that because we are connected to this party, we can go 5-10 years without paying anything that is we are supposed to pay and still be in business. And then let me also make it clear, the propaganda can go out there that the only reason was the affiliation, but the courts even disputed with that position.
All right,
thank you. Is superior.
Thank you very much. And as always, my outfit is by Habil Scooter. Habil Scooter, call them 0200 841 988 841 988 0200. Joe Anoche says all the old frequencies will be guaranteed. Thank you very much, Mr. Joe Anoche. And my guests have been Kofi Bento, lawyer and senior vice president, Imani, Africa; Sami Jemfi, national communications officer, National Democratic Congress; Martin Pebu, private legal practitioner; Dr. Okoboy, former deputy minister of health and member of government's communication team; Mr. Harry Yamson, fellow Solidaire Ghana; and you also had Reverend Edmond Duren, Chief Fianko, acting head, engineering division, National Communications Authority. I'm Samson Ladia Yanini. God willing, next week we come your way with another edition of News File.